All right. Why are we here today, Miss Amanda Glitters?
We are going to talk about the Goddess Body Project.
Yeah. That's our thing. That's our shit. That's what we do.
What is it?
We turn people into goddesses.
That's not wrong. You are not wrong. That is very true.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome to Boss Bitch Radio. We're just, we're really enjoying podcasting today because we haven't seen each other. And so this is a fun little treat. I moved, for those of you that aren't familiar with what's going on in my world. Not that it matters, but now you know. And so now I had a little surprise visitor. So we are podcasting today, but we are talking about essentially what it takes to build a goddess body, right? And what does that even mean?
Yeah.
So if you are curious on how to do that, you know, we have a program. Obviously, that's what we do. It's coming up soon and it is open for enrollment. Now, it's not starting when you're listening to this, but we are enrolling ahead of time because we are getting our ducks in a row for all the humans that sign up to do this. We've been doing it for quite some time. So it is our 12-week, AKA 90-day transformation program. I kind of hate that word.
What sounds better, 90 days or 12 weeks?
I feel like 90 days feels like doable, right?
12 weeks.
Like 12 weeks just sounds like
a while.
Like it's a while, but it's the same fucking thing.
It is. It's all about perspective.
So you decide what sounds better to you. I think either it's interchangeable, but essentially 90 days, 12 weeks. And we've done this in the studio for quite some time. I've been running this program. I started it in 2016, took a little bit of a break from running it, and then we brought it back, and it's been crushing. Like,
so good.
Girls have been crushing. And if you've been listening to the podcast, we've had some of the clients that have gone through the program just sharing their experience. And like our hope is by sharing, or at least my hope is by sharing those stories that somebody listening like identifies with those people. Like, oh, I get that. That sounds like me.
That feels like me. Like,
right.
You know, we're talking about Vanessa. Vanessa works a crazy hour job. You know, she made it happen. She's lost 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Kelly also, she has a different kind of a job and she gets up at 5 a.m. and she does all her workouts and gets it done as well.
Yeah. So we started offering it back in 2016 as, I don't know if you know this, but this is before. Well, were you working for me in 2016?
Keep going and then we'll see.
I offered it just exclusively online.
And it was a Facebook group.
It was a Facebook group.
I was in it.
Yeah. And I had, I want to say I had 30 girls enrolled in 2016, which was 100 years ago, it feels like.
Yeah.
And it was not an in-studio thing.
No.
In studio, we did something else called Fierce AF. Remember Fierce AF? So that was another kind of program. It was a little shorter in duration, but this one is not only in studio, but it is also online, which we've been doing. Right. I know you've got some of those girls that are doing the Goddess Body Project, and Alicia does, Monica, all of our coaches. Then we decided that this next round, because we did have a lot of people interested, but it was an issue of budget, right? Yeah. The investment. And I was like, okay, we can do this.
I feel like we should touch on the fact as a why. You know, like we have an in-studio option, right? Which is where they get personal training 3 days a week for the 90 days. So that is one of the ones why like budget was a little bit of an issue. There's also another one that we are already offering that's online only. So for people that are not local to us, but you know, that one is more one-on-one.
Yeah, that's definitely one-on-one.
Yeah.
So this time around, I'm kind of calling that the VIP online option.
Yeah.
So if you aren't local and you still want the coaching, but you want more of a strategized approach that's more customized and like your hand is held and weekly check-ins, your coach is working exclusive with you, that'll be the VIP option. But we're offering the group coaching option, which is what I'm really stoked about because we can change more lives. And what we've come up with is gonna crush. And it's also going to make the program for the in-studio clients and the VIP online clients that much better.
Right.
So the group component is going to be, it's in a software program. We'll have weekly coaching calls with each week. There's a different subject that pertains to things that everyone fucking struggles with in these programs.
Yeah.
Right. So we've come up with a curriculum. We have, set training programs and nutrition modules and everything. And it sounds very like, oh my God, I have to learn things. No, it's not. We literally like break it down and simplify it so you are successful.
I think the one thing that's really great about any of these programs is that we've done the work. Yeah. We've done the things that didn't work. Okay. Now we're letting you know, like, this is what works. And, with the group component, I think it's going to be able to touch a lot more people, and it's going to just kind of unfold into this bigger thing of, the Goddess Body Project.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. And what I like about the changes that we made to the program this year is that everyone is starting on the same day. Now, we do have some people locally that don't want to wait till January 15th.
Right.
And they're itching to start, and that's totally an option. So if you want to start a little bit early, that's okay. But I think if you can like calm your tots and just wait until January 15th and get your ducks in order in your own life, right? So you are prepared and ready to rock on January 15th, then you can go through it with the community of people who are doing it too.
Yeah, I feel like knowing that you have other people that are doing the same things, that also have the same questions and the same struggles, just really gives you another tier of like, okay, I can do this. It's okay. They're teaching me all the things, and I feel like I can do this.
Yes. And we'll have an area for everybody to communicate. So we're still teasing out some of the details on how we want to do that. But the software we have has an option for that. And we're kind of just teasing out what's going to work best for everybody. But essentially where you can go in, you can ask questions. Alicia and I will be in there every day answering questions for the community. Like if anybody's coming up on snags in any way, shape, or form. And also for those that are not doing the VIP online option, for the group coaching component, we're going to also have a space for you to like submit your training videos once a week if you want feedback, right? Because we're all personal trainers. So that way it's kind of awesome because everyone can learn from that shit, right? Yeah. So if I go in and do a critique on somebody's training video and just explain why they need to fix certain things,
what I would do instead.
Right. It's just naturally going to help the collective group of humans.
I think doing that, especially like with our VIP girls that are one-on-one, I have them do that for me too. And it's been crazy the difference. I literally get a message the next day or after they do that workout again, and they're like, I did not feel my glutes. And then I did what you said, and it made a huge difference.
Definitely.
So, I mean, it's worth it.
It's totally worth it. So there'll be that component. Of course, we have all of the, all of the stuff that comes with it, which is like all the PDFs with the training programs and the nutrition stuff and all of the other things that everyone gets. But the program, we're starting to enroll now. So that way we have an idea of like how many humans are
save your spot
are doing the things. There will be, links in the show notes, in the description box for you to check it out. Ask all the questions. You can DM us and we'll answer you over on Instagram. If you have any questions, you can also email us. But if you're on the fence, doors close on Friday, January 12th, or if all the spots fill up. If we're talking about in-person and VIP one-on-one.
Right.
Group coaching, we are kind of hesitating as to how many we're going to take there. So we're going to play that by ear because this is the first time we're doing a group component like that. But we wanted to spend some time just kind of diving into transformation programs in general, how ours is different, and how it can help you, right?
Yeah.
What to expect and things like that.
I feel like, why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing the Goddess Body Project, Diane?
Well, when I started teaching boot camp, right? That was how I started. I was doing pole dance and everything. And I was in prep and I was bodybuilding, and people would come to me and they're like, okay, I want to look like you. Right. And I'm like, okay, I didn't get this from pole dancing.
No, I feel like that's a big thing. People think like, oh, well, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get that body.
Right. And so I knew that what I did to achieve that body was not boot camp classes, right?
No.
I knew it wasn't high intensity stuff and it wasn't 5-pound dumbbells and all that. It was weight training. It was getting in the gym and weight training. But at the time, the best thing I could offer people, because I knew that there was a problem that needed to be solved in my community. And I was like, I know how to, I'm going to do my best. We're going to figure this out. And we started with the Goddess Body University. It's had different iterations, but the reason why I wanted to create something like the Goddess Body Project, which is not like Goddess Body University. Goddess Body University was more of like dumbbells and cardio-y things and stuff with the whole nutrition component, was the failure rate of those types of transformations locally, like the boot camps and stuff, was very, very high.
Yes.
And to me, in my opinion, from the clients we saw, was because the nutrition plans were way too rigid.
Yes.
Right. So people would go, they'd have these audacious claims of like, you'll get your money back if you lose a certain amount of weight. So people were doing like these really crazy extreme things to be able to get their money back.
Right. They were working out 4 times a day. They were eating tilapia and asparagus.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing about that too is that like, it's one meal plan.
Yes.
For everybody.
Very, very generic.
Yeah.
Right?
Super generic.
Right. So I was like, okay, I hate that about that. Right. The other reason is I wanted to create something that wasn't as rigid as a contest prep situation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, oh, we're all intuitive eating. Like, like that takes some skill and some like practice, right? That's not something that comes naturally for a lot of people when they're trying to have body goals.
Right.
Right. So I wanted to create something that wasn't competition prep and like rigid and it was realistic.
Yeah.
Right. And if you listen to the podcast with our clients, like Vanessa's lost 50 pounds and she'll talk about how she still, has a glass of wine and she could still do these things, right? You can't do that in a competition prep. You can't do that in an extreme boot camp and they're going to like slap you on the hand. Like, no, we don't do that. Right.
I feel like that's a thing too. If you're in that kind of a environment, right? And basically all they're really wanting to do is make you lose weight, right? 1, that is not going to change the shape of your body.
No.
And 2, you're either going to do really good and then after that fall off. Or 3, you're going to not do as good. And then you almost feel like you might be a little embarrassed.
Yeah. And people quit and they give up.
And they quit.
Yeah. So that was one reason. Then the other reason why I wanted to kind of go into the group coaching component where we can offer it to more people, because like now we have a huge podcast following, which is great. You guys are badass and awesome.
Hi, people.
And we want to be able to work with more of you. And I know that the one-on-one option sometimes isn't feasible, right? Financially. But most importantly, we're going to give you what you want, which is results, but we're also going to give you what you need, which is understanding what the fuck you're doing wrong and why you keep jumping from program to program, right? Yeah. So yes, you're going to get the workouts with us. Yes, you're going to get like the meal plans and figure out your macros and all that, but we're actually going to simplify it so you understand and you can have results for the long term, well outside of the 12 weeks, right?
Right.
So some of the, I hate to say curriculum, but weekly coaching topics we are going to be covering is like week 1, we're going to have a kickoff call. We're going to talk about setting the foundation, right? What does that look like? Setting the foundation for you to be successful. We'll go over week 2, nutrition basics. We have a module for dining out strategies and social settings.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have a whole week on supplementation 101, where we're going to talk about that. Then we'll talk about meal timing and frequency. This is kind of getting a little more next level strategies, right? Then we have your weight training effectively, kind of diving into that. We'll have a week talking about cardio. Then we'll go into things like staying motivated about halfway through, because that's when people start going downhill.
Yes.
Then we'll talk about progress photos and gauging your progress and other measures for that and how we want you to do that. We'll talk one week about how we make this sustainable as part of your daily routine. We'll even go into a hormone week. And then the last week, we are going to talk about celebrating like successes and where do you go moving forward, right? Do you do another round? You know,
this sounds like a private podcast.
Yeah.
I like it.
It definitely is.
I like it.
It's definitely next level, like coaching strategies. And then there'll also be the option on these live Zoom calls for you to ask questions, Q&A, like, hey, I'm doing this, you know, and like experience shares and kind of learning from the group. So I'm really stoked about that. I think this will be great, not only for the group girls, but for the studio girls too.
Oh yeah.
And then also this is a great way because I'm not taking new clients anymore. So this is also a great way for people to work with me, but not necessarily in a one-on-one capacity, but still be able to be in an accessible way that's budget friendly.
Yeah.
And still have like access to the brain, the boss bitch brain, right?
The boss bitch brain.
So the group component, I know that some people might be eager to jump at that, but we wanted to really tease out about who that's right for, right? And like who all these different options are right for.
I touched on it a little bit, right? I touched on it a little bit. So there's going to be different components, right? There's kind of like a beginner course, there's the intermediate course, and then the advanced course, right? If you're a beginner, right? Maybe you're not working out. Maybe you don't really know much about nutrition. Maybe you're like, green things, ew. Okay. That's going to be for you, the beginner kind of spot, right? If you're like, okay, green things are cool. Intermediate means you just need a plan, right? You need to understand a few things, and like you're already working out maybe, but you don't really go in with a plan. You're eating clean, quote unquote, but nothing's changing, right? If you're more of an advanced person, this means that like you're doing well, right? You're going to the gym. That's an easy part for you. You're doing cardio because, like heart health. And then, maybe you want to take it to the next level of maybe competing. Ooh, scary.
Right. So that's kind of how we classify, where you are on the scale of your fitness and health journey for body transformation, right? You're a beginner. If you're a beginner, we just want you to do anything. Right? Go walking, start incorporating more vegetables, lean proteins, things like that, and start just kind of cleaning up things.
Drink some water.
Yeah. If you're a beginner, you're probably not a good fit for the online component, just being real.
Good to know.
Honestly, even the VIP option of our online coaching, where it's a little more it's all one-on-one with a client or with a coach online, I really don't feel like that's a good spot if you are super new, right? Like you've never gone into the weight room. You have no idea what the hell a macro is. And this is not to discourage people from signing up. You might have a different case scenario, but I don't feel like the group coaching, it's going to be too much, I feel like.
Yeah, because in the group coaching, right, it's a group.
Yeah.
So in reality, you have a coach, right? Your group coach.
Totally.
Diane and Alicia. But you also have to hold your own ass to the fire.
Yes.
And if you're already having a problem with that.
Right. And if we, we've already created the training programs for this, which I'm super stoked about.
Ooh.
So it's like the training that you're going to be doing, you need access to a big box gym.
Okay.
Hands down. Like, this is not a program for at home. I have another program for that should you be interested, and we can link that in the show notes, which is the Goddess Body University at home, right? Where I have videos and you follow along and you need just dumbbells and a chair, right? It's super basic. With us, you need access to a gym, right? Because the in-person version, we have a full gym, right?
Yes.
The VIP one-on-one with a coach, you need access to a gym. They're going to give you a training program. And the group component, our program there is all gym program stuff. So you need access to, a barbell for squats, a barbell for hip thrusts, a leg press, like the general things. And if you know this lingo, then this is likely for you, right?
Yes.
If you are intermediate, this is kind of like a perfect fit, right? You go to the gym, but you don't really like have a plan. You're like, oh, I use this machines here and there, but I don't really like follow a strategy and like go in and know what certain days I need to do what.
Yeah.
You eat healthy, you know what protein is, you know what carbs are, you know, those types of things. You're doing most of the things. You just don't have a guide and like an end point. You're just kind of floating aimlessly.
Yeah.
We want you.
Yes.
You're the person who we are going to get our hands on, and you're going to be like, holy shit, all I needed was somebody to tell me what to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But I feel like I need that too.
Yeah. Like, you know what to do, but you just like, maybe you overthink it. You know, we have those clients, right?
Yeah.
And then like Amanda was saying, advanced is going to be more for maybe you've been training in the gym. Maybe you've bought programs online from people already before. You know how to execute them. Maybe you've worked with a trainer.
Maybe you meal prep.
Maybe you've competed. Like the group component's probably not going to be for you, right? Yeah. Like you need something a little more customized. Than the VIP option would be a great online option for you. So that's where we kind of classify the buckets.
Yeah. I think, you know, going forward, one thing that's super duper important is that you need to set a realistic expectation. Mm-hmm. Like you can't go in there without a goal, right? What is your goal? I feel like I get this a lot, and I'm like, what's your goal? And they're like, I just want to lose weight. And I'm like, guess what? That is not going to get you going. That's not going to get you to the gym just because you want to lose weight, right? So basically the first one, you have to get clear on what your goal is. Is it going to be fat loss? Is it going to be changing the shape of your body? You know, if you want to get real nitty gritty and you want to really have like one of those big goals, that's probably going to be a VIP and not a group component, right? I say this all the time. 12 weeks is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
12 weeks is a drop in the bucket. So if we're talking about some old clients, you know, as we talk about Vanessa, she's got a podcast with Diane as well. She's gone 3 rounds and lost 50 pounds. Mm-hmm. So that's going to go to tell you, like, if you want to go into this 12 weeks and be like, I want to lose 20 pounds, it's probably not going to happen. Okay. Yeah. It's not realistic. You're going to get like discouraged and you're not going to want to continue. So it didn't take you 12 weeks to get the body that you have and to get unhappy with it. So it's not going to take you 12 weeks to get the body that you think you want. Like, I have people that think, 12 weeks, I'm going to get on stage. And I'm like, it takes me 6 months.
Yeah.
But okay. You know, the thing that we always like to do too is like, we'll go like a big stretch goal, like a goal that may not be able to get, right? And then we do like a medium goal, and then we do a safe goal, right? And then as you're going through that, what you want to do is you want to act like you're going to get that hard goal that's way, way far, that you're like, I don't know, but I'm going to pretend it, right? Fake it till you make it is basically what we gonna do for that, right?
Yeah.
And then once you're done with your round, what you want to do is just kind of figure out where we want to keep going, right? The next round, it's like, okay, maybe you do the group coaching and you're like, all right, I kind of got it, right? Mm-hmm. And then you want to move up to the VIP, right? And then you'll get more one-on-one coaching, you know, or if you're like, okay, I'm just getting the tip. Just getting the tip, right? Just the tip of this. And then, so what you want to think about is if you go for the next round, you know, what do you want to do? What do we need to improve on in that you did not do as well in this last round? Forever, I need to sleep more.
Yeah.
Forever. Okay. Maybe you need a little bit more consistency with, you know, getting your protein in or getting to the gym. You know, maybe your weekends are difficult to kind of maneuver.
Didn't you say something? Was it you the other day that was like, identify the problem?
Yeah.
Was that you? What were we talking about?
So we were on the Zoom with our members.
Oh, yes.
And the question was, how do you stop doing bad habits?
Oh, yes. How do you break bad habits?
How do you break bad habits? That's what it was. And I was like, identify the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you, my example was, if you've got Oreos in your house, not me, because I cannot not eat those Oreos. And I'll be like, I'll just have 2. Bitch, no, you're not. Okay. You're going to eat a whole roll, a whole line. You'll have a whole line to your forehead. And then you're going to be like, gosh, dang it. I wish I wouldn't have done that. So what I've done is I've identified my problem and I don't bring Oreos into my house. However, you better bet your britches that I'm going down the cookie aisle and I'm seeing what kind of flavor they have.
They have so many.
But I don't buy them. Okay.
Right.
So off topic. But basically what we're doing, you know, whether we're in the VIP or the group, what we're trying to do is help you make habits and then make those just like daily things that you do. And then once that becomes easy, then what you're going to do is we're going to keep adding on. So maybe the first month you're like, okay, yep, I've got all my water in every day, but my protein's not so good. Okay. Next month, water is going to stay in. We're going to see if we can get that protein. And that goes so on and forth with like every month, or even if you took 3 months to kind of get one thing under your belt. It's forever. Your health is forever.
Yes.
And if you don't work on it now, you're going to have to work on it later.
Yes, 100%. And one thing that I think is important to note is that kind of circling back to when you're like, oh, why did you want to create, like what made you want to create this program?
Yeah.
Is because so many other programs, like transformation programs, are just focused on the surface level things, right?
Oh gosh.
And I get it, right? We're often more excited to start a plan than we are to execute a plan. Like 100%. I know every time I would get a new plan for my coach, I'd be like, oh yes, a new plan. I get to cut more food. And then I'd be like, oh, I have to cut more food, right?
Well, even with training programs, you know, when you get a new training, the first week you're like, yeah. And then you're like, ugh.
Yeah. So most transformation programs that you see out there, whether they're the ones locally that we have in our town or online, they just kind of cover like the basics. Like, here's your meal plan, here's your macros, this is the cardio you need to do, and this is the training you need to do.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, if it was that easy, everybody would be walking around looking fucking fantastic all the time.
Yeah.
But we take it a step further and we kind of like peel the onion and we get down to the root of like, okay, this is why I snack at night, is because I'm not fucking sleeping, right? Like I'm stressed the fuck out. And my response is I eat food, right? So it's not to say that this is like a mindset, you know, transformation program, but your mindset changes going through the program because we're like, no, Mrs. Jones. Okay, we gave you the meal plan, but you didn't do it. But why didn't you do it? Okay, it's because all these other things. And we cover those things over the course of 12 weeks. And when you work one-on-one with your coach, even more so. It's more personalized.
I think what it is like once you start digging into why things are happening, it automatically comes to the surface. Mm-hmm. Like we're not just digging into clients, you know, one-on-one, you know, also not on group, but we're going to be like, okay, we see this is a problem, but why is this happening? And then you start thinking about it and you're like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't, right?
No.
Like every week, it still shocks me doing this for as long as I have, when I have clients who've been working with me as long as they have.
Yeah.
We talked about this today actually in our staff meeting about clients tracking their periods, which are like, what does it have to do with transformation? It has a whole hell of a lot to do with transformation. Because if you are a fucking basket case before your period and then you eat everything in sight and all the things, like we have tools for that, right? We have resources and all that. But I will start reading a client's check-in, and this is for my one-on-one clients, my VIP clients, is I'll start reading it, and like the first question is like, how have your stress? Like there's questions about stress and, you know, have you been excessively having BLTs or whatever, bites, licks, and tastes? Because these things matter. Yeah. Right. And then they're like, yes, I've been having all kinds of BLTs and I've been so stressed out and I haven't been tracking and I've been eating all these things and I've been bad. And then I'm like, the next question on our sheet is, when's your period? And they're on their period. And I'm like, hi, this is all correlated.
Yeah, I know. And then you were talking about touching on hormones in the group component, right? Mm-hmm. And we talk about this a lot on the podcast. And I have a client right now. She's literally had like 7 periods in 2 months. And she's like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why. I can't stop eating. I'm so hungry. I'm like, girlfriend, you are on another level with this period and it is messing with your hormones. I want you to relax, breathe. We're going to get through this and we're going to get you off to a hormone doctor.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like you can't ignore that.
No.
I mean, you can, but you're just going to be miserable.
Yeah.
So, another thing about like setting realistic expectations is with people who just kind of go through the motions. It's a nice way to set a goal and create realistic expectations, right? So it's like, okay, I'm kind of going through the motions. You're one of those intermediate, you fall in the intermediate bucket.
Right.
Something like the Goddess Body Project is great to steer the ship in the right direction and actually ask yourself like, okay, let's see what I can actually do with my body when I have a focused plan.
Right.
And I'm not just wandering aimlessly. Oh yeah, I'll hit this machine. I'll hit that machine. You don't know if you should do weights first or cardio first, or you're doing some weird shit. This is like foolproof.
Right. I mean, that goes to show, you know, everybody's like, I want to look like that. And it's like, okay, well, this girl is 5'8" and you're 5'4".
Yeah.
Okay. It's not going to happen. But if you have a plan, you will start seeing the changes in your body. And that's the thing is like when we're just kind of aimlessly going about, we don't know what your nutrition looks like. You don't know what you're doing when you're in the gym. You're like, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing because you have nothing that's actually like on a plan and that's going to take you in the right direction and get you to where there's actually results happening.
Yeah. And the great part about joining a program, even if it's not ours, right? Like I'm not like hating on other programs and there are great programs out there, but when you join a plan, generally speaking, the mental work should be done for you, right? Like you don't have to think. It's just plug and play, like execute and all of that. But with us, with our coaching, whether it's one-on-one, right, in the VIP setting or in studio or group, it's like, we'll tell you what you need to do, exercise-wise, cardio-wise. We tell you how to eat, what to eat, how to balance some treats in there and understand
holidays, birthdays.
Yes, how to navigate around that, sanity foods, and kind of like rearranging your programming when it comes to dieting, right? Like the whole concept of like, well, if I'm not doing this 100%, then I'm failing, right?
No.
Like that's where like so many diet programs fail is like, it's just like, oh, this is the list of foods and this is only what you can eat. Like a lot of the boot camp transformation things where we are realistic. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
we're realistic bitches here.
Right.
Hence why I created a program called Ditch Deprivation. We want to teach you how to take control of your body fat and the shape of your body and your health and nutrition by not excluding and making you feel bad for eating certain things. Like you can work those into your nutrition and still have an excellent result.
Yeah.
And not feel crazy and not be a shut-in and like you can't hang out with your friends and do all the things, right?
Yeah.
Competing is a totally different story.
Different ballgame.
This is talking for lifestyle clients or people who just want to look better, feel better, have some results, and not continue yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I you know what? I feel like the one-on-one training or even this group component, it's really nice to be able to have something that's going to pull your leg when you're like losing it a little bit.
Accountability.
Accountability is 100% everything in life.
In life. It really is.
I know.
I mean, I have so many people that I've hired for accountability in different areas, you know, but it also is helpful because we start to get you thinking of creating the vision for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what do I want my body to look like? What do I want my lifestyle to look like? How do I want to grow old gracefully? Right. And that's really the beauty of, I feel like, our program, because it embodies different pillars that are important for body transformation.
Yeah.
Not just the diet, not just the macros, not just the training program.
It's mental.
Yeah. And we also want you to be successful, but we want you to also be realistic. And then the other piece of that with accountability is like, you have to take ownership for executing the plan.
Yeah.
You can't just sign up for a plan. Like, you got to do the things.
Yeah, you got to do the things. And I also think that another thing, just let me get on my soapbox. Do not, okay, think that if you are not doing the things, that things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, if I'm not doing the food and I am not doing the training and I'm not doing the cardio, I'm not going to look at the scale on Monday and be like, what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be like, listen, bitch, this is what you did. Okay. And I tell myself that. But that's the thing is like, you have to, if you're in the group component, right? This is why we're saying intermediate, you have to hold yourself to the flame. Mm-hmm. Yes, you're going to have weekly things and all of that, but you have to hold yourself to the flame to be able to go to the gym and eat the right things. You know, same thing with my one-on-one girls. They've got to do all of that. They check in, they do their things. And if they don't, I'm like, okay. And if somebody's ever like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why the scale went down or didn't go down. And I'll be like, okay, well, you went over on your macros about 4 days this week. We missed a couple of days of cardio. So it makes sense.
Yeah, right. So it's definitely a two-way street.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be an active participant in the transformation.
I cannot want this more than you.
Yes. I love that. That is so true. I cannot want
it more than you. Okay. You have to want it more than I want it for you. And in reality, you know, all we want is for everybody to succeed. You know, if you've been listening to the podcast, we're just out here telling the things that we know that, you know, you might think is woo-woo or whatever, but we care about you.
Yeah. And we, you know, on that note, if you are interested or you're curious or you're like, I want to do that. You guys are cool chicks. You want to hang with us, right? Because you get to hang out with us in the group component and like on Zoom and every week. So 12 weeks of me, you get 12 weeks of me. Are you excited for that? Alicia and I are taking turns on the coaching calls and stuff. But I mean, I'm there. I'm in it. I'm going to be doing the things, but we need you to understand that the way that we do things is for longevity. Right? Like it's not a flash in the pan boot camp. You're going to lose 50 pounds, because we've seen that shit and we know it ends badly. Okay. It's very
always
rare.
Worse.
So if you decide to join us, we do need you to silence that like inner voice or that inner critic that's like, oh, I really just want to be hardcore and strict. I'm just going to do it my way. Right.
Right.
I want you to ask yourself if that's worked for you in the past, because if it hasn't, then that's probably a sign that you got to try a different way.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep trying the same thing and it's not working,
that's a sign.
Listen to somebody else that's done it.
And we've done it 100 times over, not only for ourselves, but for clients in the studio, online, athletes, like all the things, right? We have the street cred there. So it's really trusting the process and allowing yourself to just do as it's laid out for 12 weeks and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I urge you, if you go apply, right? And I say apply because if you are in our area, you have to apply. We actually want to talk to you. And it's not because we want to high pressure sales you. We are not like that.
No,
at all.
Yeah. We don't push sales.
We don't do that. But
if you like us, you like us.
And I'm never in the business of trying to convince somebody to work. Like I shouldn't have to, like it's either a hell yes or no. Right.
I mean, isn't that why we're doing this podcast?
Absolutely. But when you apply, if you're interested in working with us in the studio, we want to get on the phone with you because we want to find out, are you biting off more than you can chew? Right. Because in the studio, that component is training with us 3 days a week in the studio and making sure that you are a good fit for the program. Also figuring out who would be a good fit for you as far as a coach, because there's different personalities and different expertise and different ages and things like that of our coaches.
And just to reiterate, that in studio is more one-on-one. So it's a VIP section.
Yes. So before you apply, or if you want to do the group aspect, if you want to enroll, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. Okay. One of is, do I suck at sticking to a program? Do I suck? If you suck and you historically suck, don't suck on my time. Okay, I'm kidding. I know. I'm such an asshole.
Did you just make that up?
I did. I just made that up.
Oh my gosh.
I just pulled that out of my ass.
Good.
No, listen, I know everyone has the best of intentions. No. And when you start a program, you don't intend to suck at it.
Listen, we don't want to take your money.
Yeah, I don't.
If you suck at sticking to a program, we do not want to take your money just to take your money.
No.
We want you to succeed.
And more specifically, on the VIP option, if you want to work with us online, one-on-one with a coach, or the in-person option, right? Not to say that I don't, if you're in the group aspect, I still don't want you to apply or to enroll. But with us, it's not then going to allow somebody else who could have had that spot.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, know yourself. Right. And then the second question is, have you ever had accountability ever? If you've never had accountability, then maybe this is what you need to stay focused.
Yeah. I feel like I said earlier, accountability in reality, yes, you need to have accountability to yourself to get yourself to the gym. But if you're doing the one-on-one aspect, your coach is going to see if you went to the gym because that is what you put in your check-in.
Yeah.
In the group component, you also have to go and have to make sure that you're doing the things or else you're going to suck.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the last thing I would say, there's lots of questions, but these are the things that stuck out to me is, do you have anything planned during that 90-day or 12-week that you're going to be working with us or any program, right?
Right.
Do you have anything planned that's extensive that could derail you? And what I mean by that is like, do you have a week-long vacation to Cancun or Hawaii or, a 5-day trip for a bachelorette party in Vegas or something like that?
Yeah.
It's not to say that you can't do the program, but historically we have seen that those types of extended little trips and stuff, it's challenging to kind of get back on track.
It is. And funny thing that you said that because I'm kind of feeling that myself, right? I'm putting myself on a mini cut. Okay, you guys, she got a little sloppy, which is what she does sometimes, but I was like, okay, let's go on a mini cut, right? I just want to feel a little bit better before the holidays, before New Year's. I'm not a resolutioner, okay? I just do the things anyways.
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving is coming.
Mm-hmm.
My daughters are turning 21. We're going to Vegas. Christmas is coming. And then New Year's, we're going to San Diego. Mm-hmm. So I've got a lot of things coming. And with that, I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace while we are gone. Yes, I'm still going to be thinking about getting in my protein, drinking my water and all of that, but there's going to be some fun stuff, right?
For sure.
But the way that I'm going to approach that is when I get back from these vacations, I'm going to be realistic with what happens. Okay. Whenever I have anybody go on vacation, because I have clients that I've had for years, I just want them to have a good time, think about protein. And then the whole goal when you come back is hopefully we didn't gain 10 pounds, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been really, really good. So just to say, like, if you do have a weekend in Mexico, like, that's going to happen at some point anyways.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Life is going to happen. Life is lifey. Something's always going to be in the way. So let me say, maybe you can still do it.
Yeah. And there is a certain part of the population that can definitely do that. I have clients that do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I just urge you to know your personality and whether or not when you go on vacation, if it's YOLO, because while I said we want to teach you how to incorporate this into your lifestyle and make it realistic, when you've never done something like this and you want to try to like be good on vacation, that could be very stressful. So if you're not used to that and like knowing, and I mean, we talk about that obviously in the program, we talk about social situations and social settings and like how to manage your nutrition and your training when you are on vacation or things like that. We'll cover that.
Yeah.
But if you've never had the experience of like, oh shit, I signed up for a program and then I have vacation, that could be a challenge, right?
Definitely.
We have clients that do it because they've done it before.
Right.
And they know like, okay, I got to prioritize protein. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then I can also have a drink every night or whatever, however, you know, if you're on vacation. So there's that. Yeah.
So what would you tell women that want to join, but are like, I don't know.
Like, oh, is this going to work for me?
Yeah. Like, will it work?
Has your body changed in the last year? Have you considered working with us for a while, but you haven't and your body's stayed the same or it's regressed? I think that's like the first sign.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing the same thing and it's not working, who's to say this isn't going to work?
Yes. And like I said, we're not salesy. So it's more like we are offering a solution and we want to share it with the world. Like I was on a walk last night and I was so ranty in my head. I was by myself and I was just getting my steps in and I was walking and I was just like thinking about the fact that when people are interested, and you tell me what you think, okay? Because the reason why I thought these thoughts was because I wanted to put a question box in the Instagram Q&A and I wanted to say like, ask me a question like food, supplements, nutrition, like whatever, and just kind of roll with whatever came up.
Right.
And then I thought, no, because you know what makes me mad is that people are asking the wrong fucking question. They're asking the wrong questions when it comes to fat loss. Like they're asking like, how many grams of fiber? How many grams of sugar? You know, should I fast? Should I do this? And I'm like, if you just focused on your nutrition, you would be amazed at the changes your body would make, even if you were not on a deficit or a diet.
Even if you don't work out. You don't.
I said that. I actually recorded a voice memo because I think I'm going to turn it into a podcast.
Oh my gosh.
It was like 10 minutes. And
Why
I
are
almost
we the same?
And I almost got hit by a car while I was recording it, FYI.
Don't do that.
I know. But I said that. I was like, like, even if you did zero exercise for a year and you just focused on eating like improving your diet and like 80% of it to 90% was whole foods, single ingredient items.
Your body will still change.
You would be amazed.
Your body will still change.
Right. So that was just kind of tangenty, but we're not salesy. My pet peeve is when other programs are aggressive with their sales and they want to get on a phone call and a strategy session and like this and that. And like, yeah, we want to get on a phone call because we want to make sure that you're a right fit. And if you're not, then we can kind of direct you in another direction.
Yeah.
And we've done that before. But let's say, okay, now we're launching the Goddess Body Project, right? You love us.
Yeah.
Duh, because we're amazing.
Yeah.
And then you start scrolling Instagram and you see another fitness influencer and they're selling their $89 self-paced program, which I actually saw today. And it was like,
it's because you've been talking about it.
It has.
If you say it out loud, something else is going to come up and try and catch your eye.
Have you seen this? It's like build a bubble butt by the end of November.
No.
It's
no.
all banded and I'm like gagging as I'm watching it. I'm like, is this bitch seriously selling this shit and people are thinking they're going to look like her at the end of 90 days.
So let's just say that building a bubble butt is not going to happen with Vance because she's about to crawl out of her skin right now.
But let's just say that you buy this bubble butt program. And I don't know if that's what it's really called, but it was something like that. And it's like $89. It's self-paced. You're like, yeah, it's cheap. It's a plan. It's all this or whatever. And they promise you like these big, sexy results. You don't know them. Right? You just saw the ad and you're like, oh, this girl, she's showing you, she probably has a bajillion followers and all you see is like curated, beautiful photos from photo shoots and there's like no real shit on her Instagram. And you buy it, they're promising crazy results and it's cheap. Then what happens? Right? You give up. Yeah. You don't stick through it. There's no accountability and they don't deliver the real pieces to a transformation puzzle. Really, that's the bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. This Banded Betty, she did not get her booty by Banded Betty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Then the other question is like, if this actually works is like, what's the vibe of the program that you're signing up for?
Yeah.
What's the vibe? Do you like that vibe? Is it a vibe of like not throwing shade is what they call it?
Yeah.
To young Instagram influencers, but is it like a 22-year-old that you have no common ground with, right? Like, for us, most of our clients are over 30. We're getting more women in the 45 to 55 range because that's where my age range is now headed.
Yeah.
They've had kids, their bodies are not like a 20-year-old body. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what's the vibe? Are you like, we're spending an hour weekly with you guys on Zoom. Mm-hmm. And we're like high vibe people, right?
Yeah.
Like your vibe is your tribe, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like, for me personally, when I get one-on-one clients, I don't just take everybody. Like either they've heard me on the podcast, I get on the phone with them, I talk to them, I tell them what it's all about, what I'm expecting, what they think they're expecting, and just making sure that everything is cohesive and we're on the same page.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And it has to be an energy match, right? Yeah. Like we took your name off of the availability for nutrition coaching because I'm now filtering what coaches get who, what clients. And I do physique assessments and then I really assess like, okay, I think you'd be a good fit for this coach or that coach, right? Now, when you are looking at starting a program, you need to choose like something that has energy, the energy and the vibe over somebody that is saying perfect things and promising things that are too good to be true, right?
Right.
So what's the vibe?
Yeah.
So that would be my thing.
If you're listening to this podcast, you kind of like our vibe.
I would assume.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Now, time constraints, right? That's usually an issue. That's an objection that comes up. Well, I don't know if I'm going to have time to implement this thing. How much time is it going to take?
It's going to take time anyways, whether you are changing your body or not.
Yeah.
And guess what? You really want to change your body. So if you want, you're going to find it. You're going to find the time.
And one thing that I've been saying a lot lately is if you don't make time for your health and fitness now, you're going to have to make time for it later by way of illness. And I hate to be like doomsday about that shit, but I'm 45, y'all. And like, it ain't cute. Like as you're getting older, that your body, if you're in your 30s, I think sometimes, or your 20s, you think you're invincible sometimes.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that'll catch up with you. It definitely will catch up with you.
I think that goes to the next one, like age constraints. Like I'm too old. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Listen. I have clients in my studio that lift more than I do that are 72 years old.
Yeah.
I got put in my place today. I was like,
Jennifer.
I was like, I bet you lift more than me. She's like, nuh-uh. And I was like,
she's competitive.
Kept putting it on the rack.
Love
and
her.
Guess what? She lifted it.
I'm going to need to get her on the podcast.
I said, now you're stronger than me.
Yeah. But, and not to I just want to close the loop on the time thing, because one thing that I mentioned in my little ranty 10-minute walk yesterday on my voice memo was we are so used to instant stuff, right? Notifications, email, blah, blah, blah. Everything happens. Come on, move. Let's go. Traffic. Like, you get annoyed.
People don't even like commercials anymore.
No. And I get that. And I understand the shiny object syndrome. That is something that promises like some fast results and like a bubble butt in 30 days or whatever, or flat abs in 7 days or whatever. But the reality is that we're dealing with human bodies. Okay. We're not dealing with computers. We're not dealing with phones. This is a body. Right? It's a human, it's an organism. And that's not how we operate. Okay. That's not instantaneous like that. And again, to go back to what you were saying earlier, that shit did not happen in 7 days. So why would you think you're going to get a 6-pack in 7 days? Right.
Exactly.
You didn't get, so yeah. So just keep that in mind.
That's such a general term.
What?
That's such a general term. 6-pack in 7 days.
Yeah. I've seen stupid shit like that.
Excuse me?
7-minute abs. I'm like, what? No, you're not going to have 7 minutes after you do the abs. Like it'll maybe take you 7 minutes, but you're not going to have abs.
I can't even do 7 minutes of abs.
No, I hate that shit.
It's rough.
So back to what Amanda was saying is age. If you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I think I'm too old. Hi, have you met Tina Bauer?
Yeah, right.
Insta Awesome over on my Instagram. I mean, we've done multiple podcasts and she's all over my Instagram. She's probably the biggest transformation we've had that is still doing the thing
still
all these years later because it works and she's consistent. So she's 56, you really have to know that the transformation program is not something that is age specific. Okay. As long as you are willing to do the work and willing to learn and be open to taking the marching orders and executing them. I don't care if you're, 85 years old. It doesn't matter. It's possible. And to what you were saying, Jennifer in the studio is, I think, going on her 3rd round of the Goddess Body Project.
Yeah.
She's 72.
Yeah.
It's never had really weight trained before.
I'll tell you right now, she's played with weight training in the gym, right? She's doing like a boxing class. She's doing all the classes at the studio, not at the studio, but at the gym. She would do like, this woman was literally getting like 20,000 steps. She's doing cardio every day. She's taking all these classes. And she's like, I don't understand why my body's not changing. She came to us. Her body is now changing. She's doing way less cardio than she was before. She's eating way more than she was before. And she's still seeing changes in her physique. And I love that for her.
Yeah, it's great. So don't let your age be an objection to starting a program.
Yeah.
Okay. We want you. If you feel like I'm too old, I'm like, come see me.
Let us change your mind.
Yeah.
Let us change your mind.
One other objection is
lack of motivation.
Yeah. I struggle with motivation. Don't we all?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Don't we all? And honestly, for me, IFBB Pro, competed 16 times, been in the fucking fitness industry for 100 years, right? I still do this shit. Right? You check on me. My friends check on me. I've had coaches most of my fitness life. And that's where
she needs accountability.
Because I need accountability. But that's, when you're in that mode of lacking motivation, you need that support system.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting it at home with your partner, you need some cool chicks that are like, bitch,
we got you.
Get your ass up. Let's go. Right. So you'll never be alone, so to speak, in this transformation journey. That's why I really stress the importance that if you want to join us, it's like in the studio, at least that piece of it is that you just hang tight and start with us on January 15th, because you'll feel part of that vibe of like, okay, my friends are going, this girl I met at the studio, she's in my group and I see her, and it's just motivating.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's one thing that I think is, it's a little bit different, right? If you go to a regular gym. But, after you start being, a little bit more consistent and you're going in, you see the same people and, maybe you don't talk to them, but you give them a little head nod.
Yeah, I do that.
Buddy. Hey, buddy. Like, we're here, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too, that I think is really great with like the group component, because, everybody's going to be going.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be going. That's the point. You guys are all together in this. You're not the only one doing it. Same thing with the studio. I really like to have the girls, especially if they go to the gym at the same time, introduce them. Listen, you guys are going to be in class a lot. You just now became best friends.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's a wonderful way to keep you on track, because when you're used to seeing the same person, you'll be like, okay, I'll see you. When are you coming? Okay, well, when are you coming? Well, I want to come on the day that you're coming. We hear that all the time.
All the time.
In the studio. Okay, well, I'm going to adjust my schedule so I can come at the same hour you're coming.
You know what? I just thought a thing. Maybe you and your friend want to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a friend. Maybe you need somebody to help you as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great option.
I love that.
Now, another objection we hear is cost, right? Financial. And that's why we introduced this group component specifically, because we want to be able to reach more people, help more people, impact more lives, and have it a more budget-friendly option. Again, best suited for people who already have some experience walking into the gym and things like that. But when we talk about investing in a transformation program, it's way more than that. It's you're investing in your health. It's the best kind of investment. This is your meat suit is the only thing you have to carry you around in this world. It's your home. This is the home you live in.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to say like, you are just fine going out and spending $200 at Target on random shit when you just wanted to go get toilet paper.
Oh, I hate that.
That's why I've stopped going to Target.
Yeah, use the app. It's easier.
Use the app. You won't get distracted by shiny objects.
Right.
But like there's all kinds of ways that you can make accommodations, right? But it's like if you are willing to spend a whole bunch of money on some materialistic thing, why are you not going to do that to yourself, to your body, for your health?
Yeah.
Like your Louis Vuitton ain't going to be around for the next 20 years.
It'll be around longer than your body if you don't take care of your body. That's for damn sure.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, one thing I remember back in the day when I hired my first coach, like I was a new mom, right? Tyson was very young. I had 3 kids. I was not yet quite like I had started the studio, but I was still hustling. I had 2 jobs, you know?
Yeah.
And I just remember very distinctly like saying, no, I want to hire this lady. Like I want to get in the best shape of my life. And so I remember sitting down and combing through bank statements. What can I part with? I stopped doing my nails. I didn't dye my hair for a while. Like there was, I'm not even joking.
I'm feeling a little attacked right now.
Know. But I was like, where can I cut spending to justify this? I think at the time it was like $300 for her 12-week program. This was like Tyson was running around in diapers, right?
This was a long time ago.
Yeah. And her name was Julie Laurie. You can look her up on the internet. And I hired her, and it was the first and best step I ever took and invested, because that was the first domino that got me where I'm at today.
I'm going to ask you
was understanding the importance of piecing all those things together.
I'm going to ask you a random question. What was the most important thing that you took from that first time?
Going through that?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was a training program.
Okay.
And nutrition, which was a meal plan. And then she had her list of like supplements to buy and all that shit, right? I bought none of the supplements because I couldn't afford them.
Right.
I did the training because I was already like used to getting in the gym. I was like this intermediate person, right?
Okay.
Like I had been to the gym, I'd done body pump and this and that, you know, at whatever. So the training piece was great because I'm like, I love this. I love checking off boxes and just knowing like I did all these things on the day I was supposed to do them, right?
Yeah.
Like Monday's legs, Tuesday's this, whatever. And then the 2 things I know I did not execute 100% in that 12 weeks, because it was a 90-day thing too, was the cardio and the diet.
Okay.
The diet was I was probably at like 70% on the diet. However, I still lost, I want to say I lost 12 pounds.
That's great.
And I was getting ready for like a photo shoot. Do you remember the Rock 96.7 photo shoot I did?
Yes.
Okay. So that was around that time.
Yes.
It's a local radio station here. And I don't even know how I got into that.
Somebody nominated you, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Somebody nominated me and I'm like on the stripper pole in a bikini and I'm on a calendar. Is wonderful. But for that, it was like, I wasn't doing all the things, but I still achieved a 12-pound fat loss because I was still implementing a lot of the nutrition like concepts and stuff, you know?
The thing that I feel very like, I need to say something, right? You lost 12 pounds in 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
That is a wonderful goal.
Yeah.
I think people think in 12 weeks, they're going to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's possible usually for people who are very overweight.
Yeah.
Right.
So like
significantly overweight.
You know, with like this group component, right? This is the question why I asked her, you know, what was the best thing that you took about it? Everybody's going to have something different, right? You know, and whether it be, so if it was the workout portion, right? That was her first one. Next time she goes through that program, we're going to get the nutrition in check. Mm-hmm. Next time she goes through that portion, we're going to go through the supplements. And then it's just going to grow and grow and grow on that. Yeah. And then you don't feel like you have to do all of the things at one time.
Yeah. And that's essentially how it happened for me. Yeah. It was like the first taste of like, holy shit, look at my body, right? Because of the weight training, really. I mean, I'm obviously the diet and I shed body fat, but I was like, wow, this is epic. So then I was like addicted, you know, I feel like I was like Vanessa back then, right? I was like, okay, I need to do the next thing. And then, you know, and then I ended up hiring her after that 12 weeks for like a couple months. And then eventually I like moved on to another coach and then I started bodybuilding and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's a big one.
Great. I love that. I'm learning all kinds of new things today.
That's so funny. But another thing that we hear too as an objection is people are nervous, right? They're afraid, like, oh, I don't know what if I don't succeed, or I'm afraid of being judged or whatever.
What if I mess up?
Yeah.
We all mess up.
We all mess up and nothing's perfect. And we don't expect, we don't have the expectation that you're going to be perfect. So we like to just put that out there right away.
Yeah.
Right. We're human. we have done the extreme side of dieting. Yeah. And we know how not perfect we are when that happens.
Yes.
Well, at least I'm speaking for myself. I think you're a little bit better than I am.
Right.
But we at the studio is a zero judgment zone. It is like we have zero tolerance for mean girl shit.
Nope.
I feel like I feel like I'm gonna catch some heat for this, but I feel like once we pulled the poles out, we kind of stopped the drama. Like we don't do pole dancing anymore, and that was not fun for me. And like girls were just a little bit much. But now that we don't have the poles and everybody's in there sweating and grunting and like everybody's doing the same thing and we're like, yeah, I see you. Good job. Everybody's like fucking high fives and ass smacks. It's like,
you're not
wonderful.
Wrong. That is 100%.
Whether you're 80 pounds or you're 340, 50 pounds, because there's the spectrum we have in the studio.
We have a spectrum.
Any given moment, whether you're 18 or 72.
Yes.
We're all there for the common goal, which is, getting in the best shape that we possibly can. Some want to get stronger, some want to be healthier, whatever, you know? So, So with that, we tell you, even when you're getting used to getting in the gym, everyone's fucking worried about themselves.
Nobody's looking at you. Okay. And then I'm going to tell you one thing, because this happens all the time. If somebody just finishes their set and they're looking around the room, they're not looking at you. They're breathing for their life.
Right.
Okay. And even if you catch eyeballs, they're like, oh shit. Everybody's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to look at you. Right. Because they're not looking at you. They're not.
No, they're not at all. Now, a question I have for you is, what do you think your strengths are? Like, I know what they are, but I want to with when you coach women. Like whether that's in person or when you're working with your online clients.
I mean, obviously, I hate saying this. I've done it before. I've done it lots of times. I just want to be super realistic to the fact that I've never been perfect. I lost over 100 pounds 10 plus years ago now. And trust me, it hasn't stayed off as it came off the whole time. Okay. And I think that's just kind of along the fact of that. I understand. And then also it's like, if I see, like when I get girls coming to me, I see what they're doing. And sometimes I'm like, that has nothing to do with where you want to go with your goal. Right. So I'm going to teach them why they need to be doing things, why they shouldn't be doing that. I love laying out plans. I love that. Workout plans, all of that kind of stuff. And then, if anybody, like we were talking about this earlier, right? Like with the vacations and coming back with that, or even if like I don't hear from somebody for a minute, I'm like,
knock, knock.
Hello.
Where are you?
Are you there? Hi, I miss you. And then I bring them back, and I think another thing too is, as I was talking earlier about my girl that's online, and, how her period was crazy and she couldn't understand why she was like eating all the things. And like, I read through that bullshit quick. And I was like, nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going to spiral down into this problem because there's a reason that this is happening. And I get in there, I, figure out what's going on and why it's happening.
Yeah. I think too, you're really great at building a sense of community with your coaching clients.
Yeah.
And also in the studio.
Yeah.
You have a really great way of just like, it's like they're your kids, but they're not.
People.
They're your babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you're really good about like sending them weekly, like you send them each personalized video, obviously with their check-ins, but you have like a team glitter, like video of the week. And, you're very like, you're supportive, you're empathetic, you understand, and you're also relatable because you have been there and done that. So I think that's, and obviously aside from the knowledge that you have with doing all the things of being a trainer and nutrition coach is great.
Yeah. I think it goes to show I started as 280 pounds, almost 300 pounds, never stepped foot in the gym. And I got a trainer because I didn't know what I was doing. So guess what? Get a coach if you're not getting any results.
Yeah, definitely. Now with not that you're asking, but with me.
What are your strengths, Diane?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought we were talking about me, but all right.
Yeah.
You can go.
You know, obviously I'm going to be heading up a lot of the group coaching component as well. But for me, I feel like my mission and like what I'm good at is debunking bullshit, right? Like I almost went on a tangent on my stories today about the personal trainers that are at the club that I'm training at the gym that I'm training at, because I'm like, I want to seriously walk up to them and be like, you should know better. You should know better. That man is deconditioned. He's doing a single leg kettlebell deadlift with a locked out leg and back rounded, and he's just not conditioned to be doing single leg things like that.
Right.
Single leg press. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Right. So, okay. So I'll debunk the bullshit.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm going to keep it real. I love laying out the plan like you, right? Where I'm like, this is how you want this. This is what you need to do. In fact, I do a lot of that in physique assessments.
Yes.
And I kind of give people a lot. Yeah, because you have to listen to them. Because the way that we do physique assessments, which we'll put that in the show notes as well, just so you can take a peek at that. And that might be something you might be interested in to figure out which direction you want to go with, even just competing, but just
that would be great.
Your transformation in general.
Yeah.
But the physique assessments end up being like 20 minutes long, because I'm like, look, this is what you're doing. This is what you should be doing if you want to achieve the goal that you told me you wanted when you filled out this form, right? Because you submit 2 goals that you want. But so that's my jam. I love that shit.
Yeah.
And then teaching women why things matter so they are knowledgeable and they understand, right? I've had coaches before, they're like, because I said, and I'm like, that does nothing for me.
No, I want to know why.
Yeah.
I want to know why.
So I like to teach like the reasoning behind things so it makes sense. And then you're more invested in the process when you understand why, right? Yeah. And then refocusing clients is another thing that I love to do, because a lot of times people get squirrely and they fall off track and all this. And I'm like, no, come on. That's what I'm here for. So yeah.
So I know there's going to be people that are going to be like, well, this, and this. That's why it's not going to work for me.
Right.
What would you say?
Well, we've had all case scenarios, right? We talked about that a second ago, where we still have age ranges all over the place. We have body weight ranges, body fat ranges all over the place, ability levels, injuries, people's schedules.
Yeah.
Results are different. Some people want to do a pull-up. Some people just want to be able to get up off the ground with their kids.
Yeah.
Right. So the beauty of it is that when you're talking about health and fitness and the way that we deliver it, it's like a choose your, like, remember those books? I don't know if you ever had those.
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your adventure. Like, what do you want to focus on? If you want to focus on this, then this is the route we're going to go. Right.
I feel like that is a big problem. You know, like people will say, well, this is what I want, but then they're doing this over here. Something else.
Right. It's not congruent with what they're saying.
Yeah.
And we do things differently, right? Like we teach people realistically how this is going to be a lifestyle for them without giving up everything that they love in their previous life, their previous version, right?
Yeah.
We want to help them gracefully make these shifts and understand the important things that will carry over for life. Like understanding like your portion sizes and the quality of your food and like treats, and is it worth it? Should you be a food snob? Do you really want that like Safeway, Save Mart grocery store cupcake?
No.
Is it really going to be that good? Like those kinds of things. And like alcohol is another one, right? People think, well, I can't give up my alcohol. Well, we'll teach you how to implement it in there and also discuss why you feel like you have to have it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, is it's a coping mechanism, you know?
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you one thing about changing from, you know, when I was at 280 pounds to now. The biggest thing that I think I've taken away from that is portion control. Portion control is huge. I look at a plate. I used to not know what is right, what is wrong. And then like, obviously, I've been weighing my food for a very long time because of whether I am like in a fat loss phase or if I'm in prep. And now I can literally eyeball that.
Yeah.
I can eyeball it now.
And that's because you learned, right?
It helps.
You were invested in the process and you learned.
It helps.
So one other thing too, is when it comes to people who think their situations are unique or whatever, like we aren't preaching that you're going to have, like, we're not guaranteeing anything. We're guaranteeing that you're going to get the results. The results you're going to get are going to be directly reflected upon how much work you want to put in and how invested you are in the process. Okay. But other programs are going to teach you hardcore is the only way. You can't eat these things, this, and this. But like, how long do those results last? Right. If you haven't gathered that from this podcast, like we're going to beat that down because let's be real, January 1st is like right around the corner and we want to stop you from making stupid choices.
You know what I feel like with those hardcore things, and I hate to say this, but I've seen it time and time again, is that whenever anybody is really like doing that hardcore thing where they're like, I'm just going to be eating this, and this, and I'm not going to eat all the things. Once they go through that, yeah, you're going to lose the weight. But guess what happens after? You gain more than you've lost. And then you're in an even worse situation than you felt when you started that other transformation program, which is why this feels better. So you can do this lifestyle-y. If you're trying to do something hardcore and you want to lose weight for, a vacation, I mean, great, go ahead and do that. But when you're done with that and you come back and you're feeling worse than you were before, let us know.
Exactly.
We'll help you. We'll help you.
Exactly. So I know we've spent an hour and almost 15, 20 minutes of this
we're still talking.
Well, because we are confident enough to speak about this in an entire podcast because one, we've had enough women go through it with tremendous results.
Yes.
Right?
Tremendous.
We've changed bodies. We've changed lives. We've changed the lives of people's, not only the people in the program, but their family, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
It has been an incredible ripple effect.
Somebody told me the other day that not only did she lose weight, but her husband lost like 12 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was Erica.
Dang, it was Erica, huh?
Yeah, but a lot of our clients that go through the Goddess Body Project, just by nature of the wife in the program or the girl, the woman in the program, it has created a ripple effect in their partners, their families, their children. So that's why this is so important to us. So it's not only just changing bodies, it's changing lives beyond the clients enrolled.
Yeah.
And it's more than just weight loss, right?
I feel like once we start taking care of ourselves more and putting ourselves on the front burner, we realize things as to why we're doing things. And then overall, your life just gets better.
Yes.
Everything just kind of falls into place. Your schedule is good. You're going to be going to the gym. You're going to be eating well, which means you're not going to be drinking all night. And then the next morning, you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, great, I want to go to the gym. Because if you were drinking all night, you're not going to want to go to the gym the next day.
Totally.
No.
Totally.
No.
Yeah. And we talk about it because, again, clearly we believe in it. We live it. Even when we're in prep, that's a different chapter. That's a different conversation. But when we're not, and I'm not competing anymore, this is just my lifestyle now. Right. Yeah. And for me, I'm not, I'm content where I'm at. I'm not trying to be shredded. I don't feel like I need to lose 10 pounds. Like I love right where I'm at. Yeah. So all I'm doing is maintaining the habits and all of the things that I've learned over all the years. And I always know if I want to tighten things up or whatever, I know exactly what I need to do, right? It's not rocket science because I've learned all the things.
Well, basically what this is we've wrapped all that up in a little present and now we're going to serve it to you.
Serve it up. And it's more than just tossing you some PDFs, right? And some documents. I mean, like, here you go, smack you on your ass. Bye. Good luck for 12 weeks.
No.
Like, we're not going to let you drown, right? We want you to be a part of the coaching calls and all of that. So that way you can be successful and have longevity in the program.
So with the coaching calls, somebody's going to be like, well, what if I can't make it?
They're going to be recorded.
Yep.
No worries.
Yep.
They're going to be recorded. You will have access to watch them, the recordings well after they are done in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we did great. Yeah. So
I think I'm sweating.
I know. It was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling aggressive about this.
I feel like we just get really excited about this stuff.
We do. But just to wrap it up, give you the little announcement time, the program, again, the Goddess Body Project, does not start officially until January 15th, but enrollment is open now. So
save your spot.
Yes. If you want to save your spot, if you want to apply for the studio, the links will be in the description box on YouTube or in the show notes. So check those out. The application process has already begun. So those are already starting to roll in. Our current members get dibs first. So those have already started coming in, and we know they're already kind of coming in just for training and whatnot. And now they want to shift to the program. But we want you to fill that out. We want to get on a call, make sure it's a good fit. Our cap at the studio is going to be 20 new people, which is not much. Last year was 30. But what happened is those girls kept doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this is great. So that has, our coaching capacity is only so much. So that way we're not giving you Walmart quality. We're giving you Nordstrom's.
Yes.
So for that to be the case, we can't take 50, right? We don't have the capacity for that.
Yeah.
So 20 in the studio. And then with online, that new group coaching component is because we wanted to work with more humans, right? We want you to have some experience in the gym, and it would be helpful if you do understand what macros are, like, what proteins, fats, and carbs are. Maybe you've had some experience with meal plans. You don't have to be proficient. You just need to understand and know, like, I can follow a meal plan. Like, I can do that, right? And then we will have early bird enrollment going on as well. So check that link for all the dates and all that fun stuff. Now, if you are more of a beginner, the group component is probably not the best bet. You want to look at something like the VIP option. And we can also give you a home workout program for that. So if you're not ready to hit the gym, but you definitely want to do stuff at home or some stuff with dumbbells, and you really want the nutrition piece of it, you can do that as VIP. And on the other side of that coin, if you are advanced, that is also a great option for you, is the VIP option. Okay. Yes. More personalization, more hand-holding, more specificity there. But I don't think we covered with the objection of people if like budget is an issue. We have a payment option as well.
Right. We did miss that.
Yeah. So there is a payment plan option. So you can, that is there for you. So we understand that. Now, if you are interested in joining, a deposit is required. Right. We want some skin in the game. We want to know you're serious. You're raising your hand. We've talked to you on the phone. If you're in the studio, deposits required. We want to make sure your spot is saved, and we know when we're done with taking new peeps. Right.
Yeah.
Now, our kickoff call, our Zoomy kickoff first week of coaching call is going to be on Monday, January 15th. Stay tuned for the time, but plan on that day. That's where you're going to meet all the people. The coaches will be on there, and we're going to chat all the things. And then our weekly group calls will be different topics with Q&As, and we'll have a list of the days and times for those for you. And then if you are interested, please check out those links in the show notes. And then any lingering questions, y'all know where to find us over on the gram. Slide in the DMs, and we got your back.
Absolutely.
All right. Covered all the things. We hope to see you in the Goddess Body Project, joining us. And if you've been listening to Boss Bitch Radio for any time, we're cool peeps and we got your back. So we would love to have you.
Yeah. Come hang with us.
All right. Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.